Yo, what's up everyone? DJ Zeus here, bringing you a overview slash review of the Thud Rumble TRX by DJ Tech. So check it out. So first we'll start off with looking at the back. As you can see, there are a ton of inputs and outputs. Starting right here, we have the power switch and the removable power cable. We have dual XLR outputs as well as dual 1/4 inch booth outputs. We also have an auxiliary output which is also tied into the booth knob. And then we have direct out, and from my understanding, from what the representative told me, is you can record the line out for each channel, so right and left, and then you also have a grounding thing for your turntables as well. So we have two channels in. We have channel 1 and then channel 2. We have a mic and line switch, and that's for the 1/4 inch XLR combo for the microphone input, or you can use the RCA in, and this is all tied into one channel, which I will go over showing you the front side of the mixer. So you can either use a microphone or you can use a line input, with the RCAs, if you have an iPod or something that you're plugging into. So going over the channels, this is kind of the same setup as the 1M. Basically, you can hook up your turntable to the phono or line in. I have it set to line because my turntables are internally grounded. And then we have a send and a return, and this is for the DVS system. So if you're using Serato or Tractor, this is basically how you can set it up. You don't necessarily need to go this route because you will need 3 RCAs per channel, and that is including the turntable RCA. So if you wanted to, you can just hook up your turntable to the Serato box and the Serato out into the phono or line in channel and get rid of having extra RCAs plugged. But if you wanted to, if you're going to be using this mixer with other people and stuff like that, then what you could do is hook up your turntable or your CDJs, whatever, to the phono line in. Then the send for that channel, you go ahead and plug that in. The send goes into the input channel of the Serato box or Tractor box, and actually did that backwards, so excuse me. It's the closest RCA to my hand. So the send is going to go from the mixer to the input of the Serato box, and I'm running the SL2, so that will be send to input, and then output from the box is going to go into the return of the mixer. See what I'm talking about by having so many RCAs plugged into the back just for one channel? Don't need to do that, but if you're going to be switching from DJ to DJ, you can go ahead and do that, and then I will go over basically the DVS and phono line input on each channel when we get to the front side of the mixer. So coming over to the front of the mixer, as you can see, we have the fader contour adjustments, channel 1, channel 2, and crossfade. You like that long throw, go ahead and set those to the left if you are into cutting and scratching, which is kind of what this mixer is made for. You can go ahead and make it sharp, and it's kind of like how the rain mixers are set up, only instead of it being on the front, on the faceplate of the mixer, it's over here on the front. Also on the front we have a 1/4 inch headphone jack as well as the 1/8. So if you happen to misplace your adapter, or you just don't have one, or you're using earbuds or something like that, you can go ahead and plug those into the front right there. Now coming to the top of the mixer, we have the crossfader and the line faders. All 3 of these faders, which feature the Innofader Pros. So these are full Innofaders, fully adjustable from my understanding. This mixer did not come with any literature whatsoever, but from what the representative told me, you will possibly be able to go into the mixer and adjust them even more so than you can right here, because they do feature the Innofader Pros. So Innofader Pro, Pro, and Pro. Unlike the M1 and the DIFS, which only had the Mini Innofader on the crossfader. Kind of one of my grimes about the faders is that they have really small fader caps. In comparison to my thumb, you can see that it's about the same size. So if you're trying to like hamster or something and you got fat fingers like I do, then you will see that it's not really much of an issue, but it makes it a little less comfortable, and kind of wish that they would come, or maybe they will come with the dual fader caps, just like the M1 and the DIFS mixers come with. I know they come with the smaller ones and along with the regular size fader caps. So if they integrate that into this mixer, then that'll be cool. So as you can see here, each fader has a reverse switch. So if you are into, you know, scratching or what have you, or just want to reverse your faders, you can go ahead and do that. Crossfader has a reverse switch for those hamster scratchers out there, or if you're into the traditional scratching or what have you, you can go ahead and do that. We have the LEDs, so you can have each channel, you know, LEDs on the left or right, and or you can look at the master volume controls just by the push of a button. Now moving on to the equalizers, we have a 3-band equalizer with a low, mid, and high, and these are not infinite kill, and I will go ahead and demonstrate that for you right now. See, so not an infinite kill. Which could be a deal breaker for some, but I mean, for the most part, it does its job. I don't know what the percentage of the kill is or the gain, because as I said, there's no literature that came with this mixer, and it is not labeled here on the mixer itself as well. And we have the trim for each channel. And then as you can see, we have the LED, which is kind of hard to tell in the lighting here, but it's working. And then right here we have the DVS and then phono or line input. So going back to the first video clip that I showed you, if you're in DVS, so if you're running something like Serato or Tractor, you can go ahead and switch to that, and say you have a buddy that wants to hop on and you guys are going to switch laptops or what have you. If you have a record, you can go ahead and flick that to the phono or line in, and as you can hear, it is playing the, you know, the tone of that, so you can switch in between. And the reason why that went so loud is because I have my turntables running on line out instead of phono out, so obviously with phono it's going to be slightly amplified. So another cool feature that we have on each channel, and I will go ahead and demo that for you guys as well. Let me get this thing going here, is left and right. So if you want to pan from left speaker to right speaker, you can do that. But notice how I went from the center, and it does have a click in the center, which is pretty cool, so it lets you know it's at the 0 position. Once you go to one channel or one side, it gets louder. And I don't know if this is to compensate for the fact that, you know, it is going to be louder when you're running 2 speakers, and then when you switch to one, they didn't want it to be as low, so they kind of compensated the volume and made it a little bit louder. Or if that's just this mixer. So the pre-production demo review unit. So we also have a headphone, and this is the basically, you know, left channel, right channel. If you want to cue, you know, the master output, so for like those late night practice sessions when everyone else in your house is sleeping and you got your headphones on, you can go ahead and, you know, just cue up the master, and you can mess around with the faders and whatnot. If you want to fade individual channel, you can go ahead and you know, cue from channel 1 to channel 2. So that's pretty cool. Headphones, this is the headphone volume, so you have a fader for the headphone volume. You also have a mic line, so just like I showed you in the first clip, on the back you can switch to microphone or line in. We have a dedicated knob gain adjustment here, as well as an auxiliary in fader. So this could essentially be a third channel. So if you're running like 2 turntables and you have a CDJ or something, CD player, this could be your third channel. Or if you're running 2 CDJs and you have a turntable, that could possibly, well, assuming that your turntable is grounded and running a line out, because this does not have a phono input on the auxiliary in. It's just the RCA line input. So one thing I kind of don't like about this mixer, but it's kind of cool at the same time, is the master output is actually a fader, which if you are doing some crazy stuff and you know you're EQing and stuff, you want to be careful because this fader is kind of sensitive, and I will show you what I mean. You don't accidentally want to bump that because you can, you know, drastically increase the output of the sound into your speaker, and if you're already running it almost at peak, you can end up blowing your speaker. So kind of sucks, and I kind of wish it was a knob because it's more controllable and you're less likely to raise the volume on a knob than you are on a fader accidentally. But you know, that's just my take on that. Another feature I forgot to explain is the high pass filters also have a reverse switch, which is pretty cool. So if you press that, high becomes low, low becomes high, and that's available for each on both the left and right channels. We have a booth auxiliary volume control here. So if you're running a booth speaker, you can do that. You know, if someone requests a song, you can't hear them, you can lower the volume. Or if you're running an external, what is it called? recording device, you can go ahead and control the volume independently from the master volume as well. But some pretty cool features. Okay, so the most important feature features of this mixer are obviously the Innofader Pro, you know, faders here. So let me go ahead and show you that cut in time. I will do a long throw or a blend type fade. This way you can see basically, you know, when it starts to kick in. I'll set it to medium or right in the middle. And I will do sharp. And for this, I'm going to turn on the light so you can see this. But the post of the fader doesn't actually come into contact with the faceplate of the mixer. So as you can see here, there is a slight little gap in here. But let me go ahead and show you what the cut in is at the sharpest point coming from factory settings. See right there, it should be full volume already, but obviously it's not. I'll go a little bit further, and as you can tell, it got louder there. So that's kind of an issue for me. it kind of sucks because you're not getting that sharpest cut, but from what the representative told me, you should be able to, you know, open up the mixer and fine tune the Innofader Pros, because they are all pros and you can adjust them from within. This is just factory settings out the box. So it's fairly decent, and I'll go ahead and demo. Not necessarily like scratching, but kind of scratching, so you can kind of get a feel for how this fader cuts on its sharpest cut. And I will go ahead and demo the crossfade as well. I mean the line channels. See, on one of them I opened it and you could barely hear it, which kind of sucks. So anyways, not necessarily a scratch DJ, but just wanted to demo this for you. Let me go ahead and do the line fader. And I will show you kind of the input, or not the input, but the sharpness of this fader. And once again, it doesn't hit the bottom of that faceplate. There's a little gap right there. So obviously a sharp enough cut. And let me go ahead and show you the reverse. There's that fade again. And then I'll just do the fader reverse as well. See, there's that fade, and then high volume. So anyways, that's just a quick overview of the faders here. As you can see, there is some adjustment that needs to be made, but for the most part, out of the box with the factory settings, it's fairly decent. So there we have it. That's pretty much the main stuff of the mixer. This is, they said that it's going to come in a high gloss black, which is what this is, and a high gloss white. Thud Rumble will be offering their limited edition and special edition chrome version of this, which is cool, I guess. But for me, this mixer, I like the way it looks, and it looks really nice with the lights off. But once you flick that switch, you'll see all the fingerprints coming to life. And that's really one of my pet peeves. I hate having fingerprints on my stuff, especially, you know, my phone, which I'm using to record this video. I hate fingerprints, but that's just me. You could be different. So anyways, they don't have a price point for this yet. From what the representative told me, it could be anywhere from $299 to $399, and they're hoping to release this by the end of second quarter this year, 2015. So sometime before summer. There are a couple things that they're going to be changing. I heard something about, you know, possibly, I don't know if it's the fader caps being changed, or if they're actually going to add, you know, the dB negative and positive, so you know kind of where you're at with the equalizers. And also, like I said, it didn't come with any literature, and the representative basically told me the basic features, so I don't really know what the negative and positive output are of each of the equalizers. So if you found this video helpful or useful in any way, you know, as always, give me that thumbs up. and hit subscribe. I got some other reviews coming through thanks to my contact that I made. He told me that they got some new turntables that are coming out, and I will probably get my hands on those pretty soon to do a review on those. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned and hit subscribe. Till next time.